The guys over at Wunder360 sent me this, the C1, their budget 360 degree camera. I've experimented with some 360 degree cameras before. What does this guy bring to the table? Is it worth your money? Let's take a look. Let's first take a look at what comes in the box of the Wunder360, which, I mean, it's kind of a pretend unboxing because I've used this thing and everything, but I put it all back together to capture the full, real unboxing experience. So let's take a look here. Inside the box we have the camera itself right here, which I, as you can see, put it back in the box the wrong way. It should really be like this, presenting the record button, the brand name. I don't think it's in the back, is it? No, there isn't. In the little tiny LCD screen for you to see information about the shoot. So here's the camera itself. We're gonna go back to it in a second. Under here we have, well, let's see here. There's an instruction manual here. Pretty big. I didn't feel like I needed to see this. I mean, because I've dabbled with some of these cameras before, they have very similar functions. I didn't really feel the need to read this, but I'll keep it here just in case. And then we have, what else we have here? We have this little cardboard pouch of sorts here, and here we have, let's see, we got micro USB cable. I'm a little disappointed that it's micro, not USB-C, but what are you gonna do? It is a budget product after all, so that's to be expected. And then here we have a micro USB to 3.5mm headphone jack cable, which I'm not entirely sure what it's for because I didn't need to use it. Now this is a little odd because the manual itself only refers to this as the selfie cable. I'm not entirely sure what this means. I suspect that if you were to plug this into the micro USB here on the side, plug in a headphone, regular headphones that has controls, and if you press any of the buttons, it's going to start shooting here on the camera. I don't have any headphones here because I don't really have wired headphones anymore, so unfortunately I can't test this. The manual isn't very helpful about the feature. I have to assume that that's what it does. And that's all that comes in the box. The camera itself, the so-called selfie cord here, selfie cable, a micro USB cable for you to charge the device, an instruction manual, and that's it. I already have a micro SD card here because I was shooting video earlier today. That's how you charge the camera, right there on the side. Micro USB goes there. Right here we have the on and back button. We have a menu button up here, the record button like I mentioned before, and the Wi-Fi button, which you will need to log into the camera with your phone to access the footage and the pictures you take. So using the Wunder360 C1 itself, very easy operation. I like how it fits in the hand, very ergonomic. Of course, they say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and if that's the case, the people over at Wunder360 really like the design of some of their competitors. It's quite similar, not for bad reasons. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I find that this is a really good way to hold a 360 degree camera. I mean, I have another one here somewhere. I can't find it. Where is that thing? Xiaomi went with an interesting form factor for their 360 degree camera. They're a good brand too, but this is their 360 degree camera. You can mount it on a tripod, but without a tripod, this is not it's not the simplest, the most natural way to hold a 360 degree camera. This makes a lot more sense and I like quite a bit more. So the camera is very easy to operate. You press the button here on the side, it's going to turn it on. Here it says hello here. So this little LCD comes on. It's really small, but you can still read it. And then you press the button here on the side, the menu button, to cycle through the options. So you have video, photo, continuous, timer, video loop, time lapse, and then the last one just shows that it films in 60 FPS. So it's pretty simple to use, easy to operate, very small, very portable. I like this package overall. The one thing I don't like so much about the C1 is that it gets noticeably warm when I'm using it and charging it. And I did read the same thing in other reviews, so it's just a quirk of this product as far as I can tell. Now the most important thing, video and picture quality. Now, if you're experienced with 360 degree cameras, whether you played with one or you watched 360 degree footage on YouTube and things like that, you probably know that this is not going to produce the same amount of quality from even your cell phone camera. Something's got to give when you're using footage that big, and well, that's where it suffers. The resolution isn't all that high, and editing 360 degree video isn't super easy either. With my video editor, I can't figure out a way to edit this thing. It relies on some really specific stuff about the aspect ratio, the resolution, all these things to do all the stitching behind the scenes. So editing 360-degree video is probably something I'll never do. Thankfully, this camera, when it outputs the video, you can throw this on YouTube and YouTube recognizes this as spherical video and it stitches it automatically for you. Some of the other 360-degree cameras that I used in the past, you'd have to transfer to your computer first, then run it through some software and then put it up on YouTube. This is something that I knew I would never do, and I'm very glad that this doesn't make me jump through those hoops. I could not recommend anything that does that because who has the time for that? So quality suffers a bit when you're shooting something with this, and editing 360-degree video isn't the easiest thing in the world. So what would you really use this for? Well, one thing I'm actually excited to use this thing for is filming geeky conventions. I hit them up a lot with my girlfriend and stuff, and there's always so much to see. There's a lot of cool products and cool costumes and things like that. There's a lot going on. It's sensory overload. So I imagine that to walk around the convention floor with something like this, capturing everything around, a lot of people would find that probably very interesting to kind of experience being there without actually being there. And that's when something like this becomes really interesting to use in connection with a 360-degree camera. Did I press a button here? I think I started filming here accidentally. Whoops. So this is a pair of really cheap VR goggles to use with your cell phone. Perhaps you have something like this. It's really interesting to load up, say, a 360-degree virtual reality video on YouTube, put it on your phone, put on this thing, and then watch the video as if you were there. Now, of course, the immersion is hurt a little bit by the fact that the resolution isn't the greatest. You're not going to be fooled by thinking this is real life. This is not even close to DVD quality. Like, it doesn't look that great, I have to be honest. But it is really, really cool to be in that first-person seat. Well, I'll give an example. This footage that I shot as a test for this, I was just walking around my neighborhood, and then I loaded the video on YouTube. And again, I love that the camera does all the trickery itself so that YouTube recognizes the video as 360 degrees and you don't have to edit anything. Like I said, I never want to deal with that again. So it was really cool to load that video, even though it was a short video, right? I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can take a look at the quality that this camera produces. And to put the load the video up on my cell phone, put it up on this thing, strap it on my head, and then look around what I was just doing. Like, I just experienced that. I was walking around holding the camera like this at arm's length like an idiot, walking around my neighborhood. My neighbors probably thought I was crazy. So I'm walking around, I'm pressing buttons again. I'm gonna put this thing down. I'm walking around my neighborhood holding this thing and just filming nothing. And to the closest thing that felt to load that video up on my phone, to select the VR option on YouTube, put it on this visor and strap it on and watch that again, it was like reliving a very, very vivid memory in a way that I don't think is possible. Like, even a video, like I shoot a lot of like travel videos, right? And rewatching those videos, it's cool because I get to feel a little bit like I'm there. But now I wish I had brought this with me to trips like that, like when I go to Mexico and stay at a resort or whatever. I'm seriously gonna do this. Next time I go do something like this, I'll bring this with me and I'll just walk around for a little bit, like going from the hotel room to the restaurant or to the lobby or whatever, holding this thing, filming everything as I'm walking, to one day, years down the road, put it on my cell phone, strap one of these things to my head, and just kind of like be there again, to experience that again. I'm actually really curious to try that. Of course, there's a cell phone app for you to control certain features of the camera, preview the footage and the pictures you take. It's standard. All of these cameras kind of work the same way, from like GoPros to something like this. They emit a Wi-Fi signal. You connect to that Wi-Fi signal like it's a regular router with your cell phone. You load up the app and then it's there. You can see a preview, you can mess around with the pictures and the footage, and it's cool. I'm probably not going to use it that much because the big thing that I picture myself, like that I can see myself using this thing, is to like go to conventions and go to things like that and just kind of like walk around, so that years down the road I can re-experience that, I can relive that in virtual reality. It's the future. I'm gonna put a link in the description where you can get your own Wunder360 C1. It's not very expensive. It goes for 150 bucks. For what it does anyways. Like, these cameras, they're usually quite a bit more expensive than that, so this is on the budget side of things. Like I said, the biggest use for this thing, the biggest thing that I can see myself like I'm definitely gonna do that, is to kind of create these sort of interactive experiences when I go to like someplace really cool. I want to do that. I want to create this whole little playlist of like unlisted I keep pressing this button. Jesus Christ. They made it too easy to operate. I keep turning it on. I want to create this like big playlist of like unlisted videos on YouTube just for myself. I'm not even going to publish them. Just for me to be like, oh man, I miss like the Calgary Expo, which I go to every year. I miss Cancun or whatever. I'm just going to strap this thing on and kind of like feel that again. It's very Ready Player One-y, but I kind of want to do that. Anyway, that's my review. I'm going to put a link in the description where you can get this guy. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It has some, like I said, some issues that are common to 360-degree cameras, and the usability of it is, you know, you're not going to be editing vlogs in this thing. The quality isn't that great, but it definitely serves a certain niche, and I like that. Which, by the way, I said niche in a recent video, and a lot of people corrected me saying that it's niche. It's both. It's actually both pronunciations are right. And plus, English is my second language, so cut me some slack. Come on. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. I'm Izzy, and I'm done.